Well, what can you say except that it is sheer and utter bedlam here at Boone-Pickens Stadium as the OSU crowd has rushed the field after a dominating 44-10 victory for OSU over OU. Butler's alongside Daniel Holdridge. And Daniel, we talked about it before the game. We expected this one to be high scoring. It was from one end. Yeah. OSU obviously racking up 44 points. But what happened to the Sooners? OSU's defense was awesome tonight, forcing 5 turnovers. While OU just looked lethargic all night long.
Yeah, first of all, I'll admit I was wrong. I picked OU. I was flat out wrong. It was one of the worst picks I've ever made. I'll start with that. Oklahoma State, one of the more impressive performances I have ever seen from them. Yeah. You know that Mike Gundy is feeling great to get that monkey off his back, beating the Sooners, winning their first Big 12 championship. All around a dominating performance, and like you said, I don't know where Oklahoma was. They did not show up, and in the second half, they gave up, and OSU is now partying on the streets. And I tell you what, both the goalposts have been torn down. I think one of them, seriously, is on its way to Eskimo Joe's.
If you're at Eskimo Joe's or going to Eskimo Joe's, you will probably see the goalposts out there. But yeah, just a tremendous performance by OSU tonight. They make history. This is the first time in school history they win 11 regular season games. Last year they won 11. Of course, that counted the bowl game. First time ever in school history they have clinched a BCS bowl game. In all likelihood, that will be at the Fiesta Bowl. They'll probably end up playing Stanford there. So what an incredible night for OSU.
It really, the question now is, like you mentioned, the Fiesta Bowl. What, is it possibly the BCS National Championship? Did they prove to the voters that they need to change their vote and move OSU to second? That'll come out tomorrow night at 7:15. It's very interesting what could happen.
And it was good to see Mike Gundy politicking there on ABC afterwards, saying that, hey, we deserve number 2, and we deserve a shot at the national title.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at the game plan that we have here for you today. We are going to be heading into the locker rooms, both locker rooms. We're going to analyze the quarterbacks play tonight, Brandon Wheaton and Landry Jones. Both of them didn't play all that great, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Of course, we will hear from Mike Gundy, Bob Stoops, live in their post-game press conferences. We also hope to have some of the players on as well. That's all coming up within the next hour, and what a tremendous night it was here for OSU as they make history. 44-10. Who would have ever thought it was a blowout? Some people, I don't want to say who, I kind of picked OSU to win this one, but I would have never thought by 34 points. It's crazy.
You got to give a lot of credit to Oklahoma State's defense. They have been doubted all year long. I'm one of them. Tonight they came up huge, shut down the run, completely disturbed Landry Jones all night long, got to him, knocked him down. Oklahoma's receivers could not respond. They dropped several passes. It was dominance, complete and utter dominance by OSU.
No doubt about it. We've got plenty of highlights to show you from the first through the fourth quarters. So let's kick things off. A huge crowd on hand, obviously, here tonight at Boone-Pickens Stadium, hoping to witness history. And of course they did. The Sooners actually tried to disrupt the Cowboys as they were coming out of the tunnel here down low. They were talking some trash down there. Bob Stoops wasn't happy about it. That might have just fired up OSU. But both defenses came out playing well early on in this game. The Cowboys obviously getting some serious pressure on Landry Jones as Rashedi Jones knocks him down here to the turf and gets right into his grill.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to Landry Jones early. That was really disrupted him. And then you go to Oklahoma State on the offense. Brandon Wheaton to Tracy Moore, 53 yards. I got OSU to the 15-yard line and set up Jeremy Smith. 9-yard touchdown run. The Cowboys take a quick 7-0 lead. That drive was 4 plays. It took 1 minute and 13 seconds.
Yeah, then on their next drive, Jones tries to get it back by going long for Jazz Reynolds, but Broderick Brown makes an incredible interception as he wrestles the ball away. That turns into a touchback.
Yeah, great play by him. Wrestled it away, really went up and attacked the football in the air, something you teach defensive backs. And then Oklahoma did a lot of things wrong tonight. This is a big play from, in my mind, Tom Ward roughing Brandon Wheaton. The Cowboys had actually made a penalty. It was 1st and 25. They actually had a penalty there. We actually have Bob Stoops live, so we'll stop this.
Actually, we'll get to Bob Stoops a little bit later on, but let's take a look right now at some more of the highlights here. Oh, you really started to feel the absence of Ryan Broyles here, but this is actually Brandon Wheaton back to pass. Check out the screen play. It's going to turn out to be a nice gain for OSU. Second quarter action now.
Oklahoma on offense. 3rd and 14, something that, like I talked about, we saw a lot tonight, was drops from the Oklahoma receivers. Obviously, without Ryan Broyles, they needed DeJuan Miller and Jazz Reynolds to step up, and flat out, they couldn't do it. Dropping balls all night long. The Oklahoma State defenders, I'll give them credit too. Justin Gilbert, Markel Martin, Broderick Brown, they played great, but the OU receivers dropped some big passes.
Yeah, then when they finally caught one, they were Sean Lewis to lay the wood out to Trey Franks, who was thrown to the ground for a 4-yard loss. OSU's defense playing great. Then the Cowboys defense continues to make big plays. And this one was huge. As Alex Alkins forces Landry Jones to cough it up, Jamie Blatnick would recover it. And he would take it back here. Check this play out. This is amazing. There goes Elkins in there. He gets the sack. Ball is loose. Jamie Blatnick picks it up. He's humping and pumping down 59 yards all the way down to the 1-yard line. Incredible play.
Yeah, that set up Joseph Randall. Just took one play after that 1-yard touchdown. It's 17-0 Oklahoma State. And really, Bob, at that point, I thought this game's over.
Yeah.
I really didn't think that Oklahoma could afford to get down by that many points and try to pass the ball and pass their way back into the game, and it proved to be true.
Yeah, then after another Sooners punt, Randall busted through a seam, 31 big yards before Tony Jefferson made the touchdown-saving tackle at the Sooners 17. The fans obviously loving it. A little later, it was Randall again, capping off a 7-play, 43-yard touchdown drive with that 2-yard score. And that made it 24-0 Cowboys with 4:05 left. Unbelievable. Sooners finally get on the board here, though. Check out freshman kicker Michael Honeycutt. Line driving a 48-yard field goal. That made it 24-3 at the half. OSU outscored its opponents so far this year, 342 to 104 in the first half.
Yeah, we go to the third quarter, and Oklahoma's been great in the third quarter all year. You thought that maybe Bob Stoops giving them a halftime speech, get them back into this game, but they were worse in the second half than they were in the first half. And you see this play, Landry Jones trying to get something going on offense. His first play of the third quarter, empty hand, he fumbles the football. Rashidi Jones picks it up and scores the first touchdown of his career.
Yeah, then OU moving the ball on its next drive, another fumble. This time freshman Brandon Williams coughs it up. Caleb Levy knocked it loose. Pokes recovered at their own 30.
Fourth turnover of the game at that point for the Sooners. Then Zach Craig, not a guy you hear much from this season, but gets back there, gets a sack on Landry Jones. As we said, he was running for his life the entire game. And then Oklahoma State just starts punishing the Sooners up the middle. Look at Jeremy Smith, 37-yard touchdown. That was a 3-play, 46-second drive. It's 41-3.
And then Joseph Randall continued to gash the Sooners defense with his 22-yard run. That led to another field goal as the Cowboys outscored the Sooners 20-0 in the third quarter, making a stunning 44-3 lead going into the fourth.
What do I say, Bob? You played the fourth quarter only because they make you. Because this game was over. Landry Jones trying to go deep, picked off by Justin Gilbert. 5th turnover of the game for Landry Jones. For the Sooners, Jones had 4 of them by himself, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles.
And then Randall continued to demoralize the OU defense after busting loose here for another big 30-yard pickup. He finished with 151 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. A fantastic night for him.
Really the only thing that went wrong for the Cowboys right here, Jeremy Smith with the fumble, Sooners recover. But again, they only played the fourth quarter because they make you. There was nothing in doubt in this football game. It was only a matter of how bad OSU was going to win.
And then finally, OU scores its first touchdown of the night. The Belldozer comes in the short yardage situation, takes it in for the 28-yard score, but it was too little, too late, making it 44-10. And then, of course, the OSU fans, here you see the Belldozer. He busts loose and gets the opening. That one of the few bright spots on the night for OU there, but they shut down the Belldozer because he never got in.
Yeah, there's the most points scored by Oklahoma State since 1945 in this Bedlam series. In 1945, they won 47-0. So, like we said, total and utter dominance by the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're the Big 12 champs. They're celebrating in the streets in Stillwater, and they deserve this. This is something that they've worked toward. These seniors have now won 40 games. That's the best senior class they have ever had. Mike Gundy has been building this program. Boone Pickens donating the money, the new West End Zone, the recruiting efforts. They got to this point. They wanted to win their first Big 12 title, and they got it done. And they got it done in impressive fashion, something that people will never forget.
Yeah, with senior night here, the last home game for 17 seniors, and Justin Blackman was also honored. He's just a junior, but he's going to be going to the NFL draft, so it was Wheaton and Blackman's last home game here, and ironically, they didn't score a single touchdown all night long. They scored 44 points.
Who would have thought that Wheaton and Blackman don't account for a single point in this game, and they scored 44 points and won the game going away? But on Oklahoma's side, I think defensive coordinator Brent Venables deserves a lot of blame and a lot of heat for the way that his defense played in this game. And I know that Oklahoma gave OSU 14 points as far as the fumbles. But look, the defensive game plan was bad. He's got better talent than that on the defensive side. I know that fans have been screaming about some of his decision making, but in this game, I thought I thought it was bad coaching. And I know that they've lost some players. Ronell Lewis didn't play in this game, but they have enough good players to play better defense than they did tonight against Baylor and against Texas Tech. That's not acceptable for a program like Oklahoma.
Well, one thing that really surprised me is that OU came in here with the most sacks in the nation, yet we saw barely any pressure on Brandon Wheaton, and that's a credit to the offensive line for OSU. But I didn't see very many blitzes out there. I didn't see very many attempts to kind of add some more guys into the rush to try to get some pressure on Wheaton. And he had all night. He didn't have a great game, but he didn't commit any turnovers either, and that was key.
They tried a couple things with Tom Ward, blitzing up the middle, but it wasn't creative. It wasn't anything that surprised them. I mean, it was just, again, I think that Brent Venables deserves some blame for this loss and the 3 losses that they've had this year. That defense has got to be better. It's embarrassing what they've put on the field in those 3 losses.
Yeah, we showed you some of the highlights here, and of course the video of the fans running onto the field, rushing the field. Our own Wendell Edwards was out there and had a chance to experience. Let's hear Wendell.
Take a look at the frenzy. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are Big 12 Conference champions for the first time ever. Mike Gundy beating OU for the first time ever as a coach and as a player. Students, fans, Cowboys from all over have stormed this field just to say thank you, Cowboys. 40-10, the final score. The Pokes have done it. Guys, back to you.
Looks like Wendell's having just as much fun as the fans.
The Pokes have done it. He's right. They have.
They have. It's been an incredible atmosphere here. The fans rushing the field. They took down both of the goalposts. Daniel mentioned he may end up finding one of those at Eskimo Joe's here a little bit later on.
eBay.
Yeah, on eBay, absolutely. But hey, they deserve it. It's been a long time coming here. Not a lot of victories in this long history of this rivalry that dates back to 1904. Only 16 coming into this game. And obviously the fans back on the field just celebrating it, taking it all in. Probably doesn't end 107 years worth of frustration, but they're awfully happy tonight.
Yeah, it was a great win from the Cowboys. Let's look at some of the RVest stats. And I'll tell you one thing that you're not going to see on this stat board as you look at these. One thing that stuck out to me is Oklahoma, out of their first 29 plays, they passed it 24 times. We talked about coming into the game, you have to rush. You have to keep the ball out of Brandon Wheaton's hands. They didn't even try to do that. You look at the Cowboys stats, 472 yards, 255 on the ground. How about that? Proving that they can run against the Sooners defense.
And everybody thought it was going to be OU that was going to be able to run coming into this game.
Yeah, and they didn't even try, and Oklahoma State succeeded. They did a great job.
All right, we've got a trophy presentation going on, so let's go there.
And it's Big 12 Championship trophy in the locker room as we speak. Chuck
pulling it up. The Big 12 Championship trophy. There it is.
Look at Rashedi Jones. He's holding that up. That's in the Oklahoma State team room, in case you're wondering. They did not do that on the field like they do in other Big 12 championship games in the past. They did that in the team room, all the OSU Cowboy players and coaches. I'm sure some of their family members in there as well celebrating. Look at that. The Big 12 championship, the first in Oklahoma State history.
Yeah, and the last time they had won a conference title, and it wasn't an outright title, was back in 1976, so it's been a long time coming for this team. And it's just amazing what Mike Gundy has done with this program here. He picks up his 58th win overall in just his 7th year as head coach. He's just a few wins now away of becoming the #1 winningest coach here. He's going to pass Pat Jones next year.
Yeah.
Pat Jones is 64, but he moved into 2nd place here, and it's amazing how he has turned this program around in such a short period of time.
Yeah, you have to give credit when you talk about what's happened with Oklahoma State. Boone Pickens is one, obviously, with his donation. Mike Holder's done a great job as the athletic director, and Mike Gundy with his recruiting efforts, with his bringing in the right assistant coaches. How about the fact that just barely a year ago, people were thinking Dana Holgerson's gone. Our offense is going to slip up. And he goes and finds a guy that he coached with in the past as an assistant, Todd Monken, brought him out of the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars, brought him in here. And Monken's done a great job with this offense, done a great job fitting in, even though he didn't know the offense. Brandon Wheaton almost taught it to him a little bit. As a team, as a just Oklahoma State program, they've done a great job of getting themselves to this point.
And what's the amazing thing is he has done this with 3 different offensive coordinators. He's got Todd Monken, Dana Holgerson, and Larry Fedora, who himself picked up a big victory today with Southern Miss over Houston. But that's amazing. You change your offensive coordinators like that, but you just keep winning. You just keep winning. And that's a testament to the great hiring practices, first of all, of Mike Gundy and the entire OSU organization. and just playing some fantastic football and some great recruiting here.
Yeah, and defensively, I mean, I can't state it enough. The fact you saw the OSU stats, how they rushed the ball so well, Oklahoma could not run it at all. In the fourth quarter, you look at it, they rushed for over 100 yards in the game. In the fourth quarter is where they got most of those, because through 3 quarters, they barely had any, and it was just a testament to that OSU defense. They were not going to let them run the ball, and then they were forcing Landry Jones to make throws at times he didn't want to make them. Overall, a great performance. You got to give credit to Bill Young as well. He came in here, changed the Oklahoma State defense. People thought OSU would never have a good defense, a good enough defense to win a conference title. He preached get turnovers. He preached get to the quarterback, and they did that to win the title here tonight.
Yeah, after 3 quarters, OU had rushed for a total of 24 yards on 23 carries.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive defense.
You got to give it up to the defense. They've been discounted all year. They did it when they needed to.
All right, we got to take a time out here on the St. Anthony Game Day post-game show. When we come back, we will hear from the 2 coaches, Mike Gundy and Bob Stoops. Stick around for more of the show right after this.